Apple just announced their new iPhone 15 Pro lineup. It might be the iPhone 14 of 2023. So in this video, I'm gonna cover what's changed on the iPhone 15 Pros. If you found this video by it being suggested, I do all things related to Apple, the good and the bad. If that sounds like your thing, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, but more importantly, ring that notification bell so you won't miss my next video when I post it. Thank you. The iPhone 15 Pro lineup has made some changes for this year, but are they enough for people to consider to upgrade from the 14, the 13, even the 12? Now, I also did a video on the non-Pro 15s if you're interested in those, so go ahead and check out the link in the description. Just like I asked in that video, I'm gonna go over the same thing here. What has improved on the 15 Pro line over last year's 14 Pro? Well, let's talk about the biggest change. The look of the Pro line has been updated. Now, I say updated because the design is still the same. Gone is the stainless steel. The 15 Pro now has the brushed titanium with the same textured matte back glass. When I saw this, all I thought was, my Apple Watch Ultra is basically flawless after a year. So if this is what I can expect, dang, I'm gonna be happy with that. Then I watched Quinn Nelson's video, and he said that the titanium is, you know what, I'm just gonna let him explain it.
I was curious to see how they would polish and anodize the metal, two things very tricky to do with titanium. And well, they're smart folks over there. They did neither of these things. The frame is brushed, which is a good move since titanium is softer than stainless steel and will scratch more easily. It's also almost impossible to polish unless you are a Japanese wizard.
What? But my Ultra looks so great. So I went ahead and texted Quinn and asked him about the scratching. He said raw titanium wears light scratches super well. It's the dark PVD colors that are gonna struggle a little bit with deeper cuts. Of course, a phone does see more action against abrasion than a watch. Depending on their coating, it might not be an issue. Apple's really good at surface finishing, like better than almost anyone. So it might not be a problem, but he expects that people are gonna have some tiny silver scratches on their black and blue phones within the next year. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that right here because when it happens, we can all listen for Quinn to tell us, I told you. Side note, if you actually watched Quinn's video and you're a little confused about why I texted him, yeah, if I watched another 30 seconds, a minute of the video, I wouldn't have gotten the same answer. So thank you, Quinn, for texting me back the info and not just saying,
do you even pay attention?
However, I did go down a rabbit hole to see scratch tests with titanium versus stainless steel, and I quickly realized, you know what? It's impossible to compare what people are testing and what Apple describes as the process that went into creating this titanium. I guess we're just gonna have to see how good their process is when people get their hands on them. I'm not going to be scratching it, but I think we know whose videos we will be waiting for, and this should be interesting. Moving on. Now that's not all that changed. The corners and edges have been rounded a little bit more, which makes the phone more comfortable to hold, and yeah, the bezels are smaller. But in Apple speak,
we're also introducing the thinnest borders ever on an iPhone.
Easy there, Billy. I mean, this could be bad too. Hey, iPhone users that have used older iPhones and now have a 10, 11, 12, or newer, raise your hand if you have more false touches on your device than you ever had on your older devices with bezels fatter than your... Anyway. I know I have, and it's super annoying. So if Apple's gonna improve that feature, which used to be good, then give me a display with no sides at all. Just screen. I gotta stop this or this video is gonna be way too long. I'm sorry. The screen sizes on the Pro phones are the same, but Apple announced it like they have this huge change.
And there are two great display sizes to choose from. 6.1 inches for iPhone 15 Pro and 6.7 inches for iPhone 15 Pro Max.
So no, neither phone's got any bigger. It actually got a little bit smaller. I'm sure it's not for any other reason besides making people have to buy new cases since their old cases won't work. If that's the case, then I have a video to add to the list. The display is made of the same tough glass as before, but I recommend always to get a screen protector. We'll have to see how tough it really is when Tech Racks and Phone Buff get their hands on them. Now the total package looks really nice, but let's move on to the other things this phone has updated this year to see if it is or isn't a bust. The silent switch is gone. It changed to a button that allows for a user to make custom actions to their phone. Honestly, I don't have the best luck with the action button on my Apple Watch Ultra. I constantly have accidental presses to the point where I needed to turn it off. I can only imagine how often people are going to press this button when they didn't mean to. That is going to be some interesting results. Inside the iPhone, Apple has used the new A17 Pro silicone chip, which uses the newest 3nm technology, which allows parts to be even smaller. It's a lot of technical stuff that I really don't want to get into with this video. I'll just say it's supposed to be way faster and give a better user experience, which is always a good thing. I just wonder if that Pro chip is going to be used in the regular 16s next year. For phone gamers out there, your experience is supposed to be taken to another level with the ability to play some really insane A-level games. Now, I don't know much about gaming, so I'm not going to pretend I know how much better it's going to be.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
I'll just go ahead and leave that to people who actually play big boy games. The portion of the phone that is really in my wheelhouse is the camera. Apple always talks a big game about improvements made to the camera every year. Now, when I compared my 13 Pro to the 14 Pro, I honestly didn't see a big enough improvement in those categories that really mattered much to me. I'm extremely interested to see how much the improvement will be from my 13 Pro to the 15 Pro. I will also be comparing it to the 14 Pro, so you can definitely make an informed decision if you're interested in upgrading so quickly. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss it. So, what is being advertised as groundbreaking this year? Of course, it's the
Best camera system yet.
one thing stated in this.
Users will get even better photos and videos, powerful new features, and the equivalent of 7 camera lenses in their pocket.
Yeah, okay. The camera system looks to be the same 48 megapixel main, wide, and telephoto spec. Of course, with the new chip, the results are supposed to improve: better low light, reduced lens flare, more focal length, etc. The one thing I want to mention about this is last year's also had the 48 megapixel super high res photo system. This year's model actually is able to shoot in 48 as well as 24 megapixels in that super high res, which should create even more detailed photos. It's supposed to look pretty stunning.
Sure, Jan.
I'm interested to see if I can tell the difference, but more importantly, if you can. The other improvements made internally allow for better results when shooting in different focal lengths. For example, 24, 28, and 35, so your zoom pics won't look like 8-bit filled images at the end. Another neat change is in the camera app itself, sort of. I did mention this on the iPhone 15 video because those phones got it as well, and it's actually pretty cool. This system allows for automatic detection of a person or pet in frame and gather all of the data surrounding the area, so you can just adjust the f-stop later in post. Like I said, this is actually some pretty cool stuff. Will you use it? I don't know. As far as the video side goes, the list of things for more advanced recording is actually pretty extensive. Just a couple things is the ability to record to an external drive, which hooks up to that new USB-C port. This allows for ProRes 4K, now up to 60 FPS. Also brought to the phone is log shooting, which allows for more editing in post. This is all great for creators, but for the normal consumer, honestly, it's just a waste. The potentially next level function added to the iPhone 15 Pro is the addition of spatial video. Long story short, this shoots video using both the main and wide angle lens to create 3D video. Eventually, you'll be able to view these on the upcoming Vision Pro, which none of us will be able to afford. Now, this is going to be added to phones later this year. This is something that people won't fully appreciate until the tech catches up first. Again, it could be a while. Now, for the first time since the 12 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max is going to be getting an additional feature not available on the 15 Pro. So if you want this, you're just gonna have to pony up the extra dough. Now this annoys me a little bit because Apple presents these phones as Pro level, then doesn't give the full Pro access to all of the phones.
Get off my lawn.
Anyway, the Pro Max will have a telephoto length up to 5 times zoom, creating the ability to shoot a focal length up to 120 millimeters. Of course, I'm interested to see how well this really works. Now I did mention a minute ago, Apple has officially converted their charge port to USB-C. I'm sure people will lose their collective minds like they did when Apple went from the 30-pin to the Lightning. Whatever. This is all I hear when I hear people complaining about that.
Oh, good grief.
The speeds from this USB-C chip on the 15 Pros are actually faster for transferring data. Another feature for Pros, but it won't charge your phone any faster, so meh for everybody else. Now, Apple didn't raise the price of their Pro line, much to everyone's surprise. The 15 Pro starts at $999 for the 128, but the 15 Pro Max now starts at $1199. Mike, I thought you just said they didn't go up. I know. Basically, they just took away the 128 gig option, so you have to get 256. I have my feelings on this, which I'll save for the review. As you can see, I do have my reservations about how much this phone has really improved over the 14 Pro. There is a lot to check out on these phones, and I look forward to testing them to see if they really are worth your money. If you want to check out my first thoughts on the non-Pro iPhone 15 announcement, check out this video right here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. See ya!